right, everybody, gather around. I need you to lock in because what I'm about to share with you is going to change the way you think about work, study, and life itself. You ever find yourself in that zone where you're grinding so hard, pushing so relentlessly that you forget what daylight looks like? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You're hunched over your desk, books sprawled everywhere, highlighters running dry, and your brain feels like it's been through a blender. You're determined to power through because that's what you've been told success looks like. No breaks, no rest, just go, go, go. But let me ask you this. How's that working out for you? Really? Are you retaining what you're studying? Are you solving problems faster? Or are you just spinning your wheels, stuck in the same spot, feeling more frustrated by the minute? Here's the truth, and it might sting a little. You're doing it wrong. Not because you're not working hard enough, but because you're not working smart enough. And today, I'm here to introduce you to a concept that's going to revolutionize the way you approach your goals. It's called the power of the pause. That's right, taking a break, not just any break, but a strategic, intentional, life-giving pause that will recharge your brain, refocus your energy, and reignite your momentum. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, stick with me. Because by the end of this, you're going to see breaks in a whole new light. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Breaks? That sounds like laziness. That sounds like quitting. Oh, I've heard it all before. If I stop, I'll lose my focus. If I step away, I'll fall behind. But let me tell you something. That mindset is what's holding you back. You've been sold this idea that success is a straight line, a never-ending marathon where the only way to win is to keep running no matter how tired you are. But let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a marathon runner? They don't just run, they hydrate, they stretch, they pace themselves. Because they know that if they don't, they'll burn out before they even see the finish line. And guess what? Your brain works the same way. In the first part of this talk, we're going to dive into why your brain is not a machine, it's a garden. You can't just keep planting seeds without tending to the soil. You need to water it, give it sunlight, and let it breathe. When you study or work for hours without a break, you're essentially trying to grow a forest in a desert. It's not sustainable. Taking a break is like giving your brain a drink of water. It's not lazy. It's necessary, and when you come back, you'll be amazed at how much clearer, sharper, and more focused you feel. But wait, there's more. In the second part, we're going to talk about the magic of the reset button. You ever play a video game and get stuck on the same level for hours? You're frustrated, you're mad, and you're about to throw the controller out the window, but then you take a break, come back later, and boom, you beat the level on the first try. That's not a coincidence. That's the power of the pause. When you step away, your brain keeps working in the background, solving problems you didn't even know you were stuck on. So don't underestimate the power of a good break. It's not quitting, it's strategizing. And finally, in the third part, we're going to debunk the myth that breaks kill momentum. Some of y'all are sitting there thinking, if I take a break, I'll lose my flow. Nah, let me stop you right there. Breaks don't kill momentum. They build it. Think about a roller coaster. It doesn't just go full speed the whole time, right? It has those slow climbs and those thrilling drops. That's what makes the ride exciting. Life is the same way. You can't go full throttle 24/7. You need those moments to catch your breath, to refuel, and to get ready for the next big drop. So stop feeling guilty about taking a break. It's not laziness. It's preparation for greatness. By the time we're done here, you're going to see breaks as your secret weapon. They're not a sign of weakness. They're a sign of wisdom. They're not a detour. They're part of the journey. And if you embrace them, I promise you, you'll not only work smarter, but you'll also live better. So buckle up because we're about to take a deep dive into the power of the pause. And trust me, you're going to want to take notes on this one. Let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. I want you to picture something with me. Imagine your brain as a garden. Yes, a garden. Not a machine, not a computer, not some high-tech gadget that can run nonstop without a glitch. A garden. Now, what happens when you plant seeds in a garden? You don't just throw them in the dirt and walk away, do you? No, you water them, you give them sunlight, you pull out the weeds, and you give them time to grow. If you try to rush it, if you try to force it, what happens? The plants wither. They don't thrive. And that's exactly what happens to your brain when you try to push it too hard without giving it the care it needs. Here's the thing. We live in a world that glorifies hustle culture. You know what I'm talking about, the rise and grind mentality, the no days off mindset. People wear their exhaustion like a badge of honor. Like if they're not running on fumes, they're not working hard enough. But let me tell you something. That's a lie. A big, fat, dangerous lie. Your brain is not designed to operate like a machine. Machines can run 24/7, but even they need maintenance. Even they need to be turned off, oiled, and repaired. So why do we expect our brains to function nonstop without a break? It doesn't make sense. Let's break it down scientifically for a second. Your brain operates in cycles called ultradian rhythm. These are 90 to 120-minute periods where your brain is at its peak performance. After that, it starts to fatigue. It's like your brain is saying, hey, I've been working hard for you. Can I get a little break now? But what do most of us do? We ignore it. We grab another cup of coffee, we power through, and we wonder why we're hitting the wall. And then we beat ourselves up for not being productive enough. Sound familiar? Here's the kicker. When you ignore your brain's need for a break, you're not just hurting your productivity, you're hurting your potential. Think about it. When you're tired, your focus slips, your memory gets foggy, your problem-solving skills go out the window. You start making mistakes you wouldn't normally make. And what's worse, you don't even realize it's happening because you're so deep in the grind. It's like trying to drive a car with no gas. You might still be moving, but you're not going anywhere fast. Now let's go back to that garden analogy. When you take a break, you're giving your brain the water and sunlight it needs to thrive. You're pulling out the weeds of stress and fatigue that are choking your creativity and focus. And when you come back, you're not just refreshed, you're rejuvenated. You're ready to tackle that problem, ace that test, or crush that project with the clarity and energy you didn't have before. That's the power of the pause. But here's where it gets really interesting. Taking a break isn't just about resting your brain. It's about activating it in a different way. Have you ever noticed how some of your best ideas come when you're not even trying? When you're in the shower or out for a walk or just sitting quietly with your eyes closed? That's because your brain has two modes, focus mode and diffuse mode. Focus mode is when you're zeroed in on a task, laser focused, and grinding away. Diffuse mode is when your brain is relaxed, wandering, and making connections you didn't even know were there. And guess what? You need both modes to be at your best. When you take a break, you're giving your brain a chance to switch into diffuse mode. You're letting it wander, explore, and connect the dots in ways you couldn't when you were hyper-focused. That's why some of the greatest breakthroughs in history happened during moments of rest. Isaac Newton wasn't sitting at a desk when he discovered gravity, he was sitting under a tree. Archimedes wasn't in a lab when he had his eureka moment, he was in a bathtub. These geniuses understood the power of the pause, even if they didn't call it that. So what does this mean for you? It means that when you're studying, working, or chasing your dreams, you need to build breaks into your routine. Not as an afterthought, but as a priority. Set a timer for 90 minutes, and when it goes off, take a 10 to 15-minute break. Get up, stretch, take a walk, or just sit and breathe. Let your brain reset. Let it recharge. And when you come back, you'll be amazed at how much more you can accomplish. But here's the real secret. It's not just about taking breaks, it's about how you take them. A break isn't just scrolling through your phone or binge watching TV. Those things might feel like a break, but they don't give your brain the rest it needs. A real break is about stepping away from screens, from distractions, and from the noise. It's about giving your brain a chance to breathe, to reset, and to come back stronger. So the next time you feel guilty about taking a break, remember this: your brain is not a machine, it's a garden. And if you want it to grow, you've got to tend to it, water it, give it sunlight, and yes, give it a break. Because when you do, you're not just taking care of your brain, you're setting yourself up for success. And that, my friends, is the power of the pause. Let's keep going. All right, let's keep this energy going. Now that we've established your brain is a garden and not a machine, let's talk about something even more powerful: the magic of the reset button. You ever play a video game? Of course you have. You're sitting there, controller in hand, totally immersed in the game. You're on level 10, and it's tough. You've been stuck on this level for what feels like forever. You're frustrated, you're mad, and you're about to throw the controller across the room. But then, what do? You take a break, you walk away, you grab a snack, maybe take a nap, and when you come back, what happens? Boom! You beat the level on the first try. How does that happen? It's not luck, it's not magic, it's the power of the reset button. Let me break it down for you. When you're stuck on a problem, whether it's a tough math equation, a complicated project at work, or even a personal challenge, your brain goes into overdrive. It's working hard trying to find a solution, but sometimes the harder you try, the more stuck you get. It's like trying to untangle a knot by pulling on it. The more you pull, the tighter it gets. But when you step away, when you hit that reset button, something incredible happens. Your brain doesn't stop working. Oh no, it keeps working in the background, quietly solving the problem while you're doing something else. And when you come back, the solution is right there waiting for you. This isn't just some feel-good theory, it's science. Your brain has two modes: focus mode and diffuse mode. Focus mode is when you're zeroed in on a task, laser focused, and grinding away. Diffuse mode is when your brain is relaxed, wondering, and making connections you didn't even know were there. And here's the kicker: you need both modes to solve complex problems. Focused mode is great for grinding through tasks, but diffuse mode is where the magic happens. It's where your brain connects the dots, sees the bigger picture, and comes up with creative solutions. And the only way to activate diffuse mode is to take a break. Let me give you an example. Have you ever been working on a project and no matter how hard you try, you just can't figure it out? So you step away. Maybe you go for a walk, take a shower, or just sit and stare out the window. And then out of nowhere, the solution hits you like a lightning bolt. That's not a coincidence. That's your brain switching into diffuse mode and doing the heavy lifting for you. It's like your brain is saying, don't worry, I got this. You go take a break and I'll handle it. But here's the thing. You have to trust the process. You have to trust that when you step away, your brain is still working for you. It's not quitting. It's not giving up. It's resetting. And when you come back, you'll be amazed at how much clearer, sharper, and more focused you feel. It's like hitting the reset button on a computer. Sometimes when your computer is running slow or freezing up, the best thing you can do is restart it. And when it comes back on, it's faster, smoother, and ready to go. Your brain works the same way. Now, let's talk about how to use this reset button effectively. First, you have to recognize when you need it. If you've been working on something for a while and you're not making progress, that's your cue. If you're feeling frustrated, stuck, or just plain tired, that's your cue. Don't push through it. Don't try to force it. Step away, take a break. And here's the key: make it a real break. Don't just switch from one task to another. Don't just scroll through your phone or check your email. Give your brain a chance to truly reset. Go for a walk, listen to music, meditate, or just sit and breathe. Let your brain wander. Let it explore. Let it do its thing. And when you come back, don't rush it. Ease back into your work. Give yourself a few minutes to get back into the groove. You'll be amazed at how much easier it is to pick up where you left off. And more importantly, you'll be amazed at how much more effective you are. That's the magic of the reset button. But here's the real secret. The reset button isn't just for when you're stuck. It's for when you're at your best too. Think about it. When you're in the zone, when you're crushing it, when everything is going your way, that's the perfect time to hit the reset button. Why? Because it keeps you fresh. It keeps you sharp. It keeps you from burning out. Success isn't about how long you can go without stopping. It's about how well you can recharge so you can keep going. So the next time you're stuck on a problem, don't stress, don't force it. Hit the reset button. Take a break. Trust your brain to do the work for you. And when you come back, you'll be ready to tackle that problem with a clarity and energy you didn't have before. That's the magic of the reset button. And that, my friends, is how you turn frustration into triumph. Let's keep going. All right, we've made it to the final stretch, and I need you to stay with me because this is where it all comes together. We've talked about how your brain is a garden, not a machine. We've talked about the magic of the reset button. Now, let's tackle one of the biggest myths out there, the idea that breaks kill momentum. Oh, this one gets me fired up because it's so wrong, and yet so many people believe it. They think if they stop, even for a second, they'll lose their flow, they'll fall behind, they'll miss their chance. But let me tell you something, that's not how momentum works. Breaks don't kill momentum, they build it. Let's start by defining what momentum really is. Momentum isn't just about moving fast, it's about moving smart. It's about having the energy, focus, and drive to keep going even when things get tough. And here's the thing, you can't sustain momentum if you're running on empty. You can't keep pushing if you're exhausted, stressed, and burnt out. That's not momentum, that's desperation. And desperation will never get you where you want to go. Think about a roller coaster for a second. A roller coaster doesn't just go full speed the whole time, right? It has those slow climbs, those thrilling drops, and those moments where it levels out. That's what makes the ride exciting. If it just went full speed the whole time, it wouldn't be a roller coaster. It would be a straight line. And let's be honest, straight lines are boring. Life is the same way. You can't go full throttle 24/7. You need those moments to catch your breath, to refuel, and to get ready for the next big drop. That's how you build momentum. Now, let's talk about why breaks are so powerful when it comes to building momentum. When you take a break, you're not just resting your body, you're recharging your mind. You're giving yourself a chance to step back, gain perspective, and come back stronger. It's like a boxer between rounds. They don't just keep swinging. They sit down, catch their breath, and listen to their coach. And when the next round starts, they're ready to go harder than ever. That's what breaks do for you. They give you a chance to regroup, refocus, and come back swinging. But here's the kicker. Breaks aren't just about recharging. They're about reflection. When you step away from your work, even for a few minutes, you give yourself a chance to see the bigger picture. You can ask yourself, is this working? Am I on the right track? Is there a better way to do this? And sometimes that reflection leads to breakthroughs. It leads to new ideas, new strategies, and new ways of thinking. That's how you build momentum, by constantly improving, adapting, and growing. Now, I know some of you are still skeptical. You're thinking, but if I take a break, I'll lose my focus. I'll lose my drive. Let me stop you right there. That's not how it works. When you take a break, you're not losing focus, you're sharpening it. You're giving your brain a chance to reset. So when you come back, you're more focused than ever. It's like sharpening a knife. You don't just keep cutting with a dull blade. You take the time to sharpen it so it cuts better. That's what breaks do for your brain. They sharpen your focus so you can cut through distractions and get to the heart of what matters. And let's not forget about energy. Momentum is all about energy, physical, mental, and emotional. When you're tired, stressed, and burnt out, your energy levels plummet. You're running on fumes, and it shows. But when you take a break, you're giving yourself a chance to recharge. You're refilling your tank so you can keep going with the same intensity and drive you had at the start. That's how you build momentum, by maintaining your energy levels so you can keep pushing forward. But here's the real secret. Breaks aren't just about you. They're about the people around you too. When you're stressed and burnt out, it shows in your attitude, your interactions, and your relationships. You're short-tempered, impatient, and irritable. But when you take a break, you're not just recharging yourself, you're recharging your relationships. You're giving yourself a chance to reset so you can show up as the best version of yourself for the people who matter most. And that, my friends, is how you build momentum in every area of your life. So the next time you feel guilty about taking a break, remember this. Breaks don't kill momentum, they build it. They're not a sign of weakness, they're a sign of wisdom. They're not a detour, they're part of the journey. And if you embrace them, I promise you, you'll not only work smarter, but you'll also live better. That's the power of the pause. That's how you build momentum. And that, my friends, is how you turn your dreams into reality. Let's finish strong. All right, we've come a long way, and I need you to lock in for these final moments because this is where it all comes together. We've talked about how your brain is a garden, not a machine. We've talked about the magic of the reset button. We've debunked the myth that breaks kill momentum. Now it's time to put it all into action. This is your moment. This is your call to action, because knowing all of this means nothing if you don't do something with it. So let's get into it. First, let's recap what we've learned. Your brain is not designed to run nonstop. It's not a machine. It's a garden. And just like a garden, it needs care, attention, and time to grow. When you take a break, you're not being lazy, you're being smart. You're giving your brain the water and sunlight it needs to thrive. You're pulling out the weeds of stress and fatigue that are choking your creativity and focus. And when you come back, you're not just refreshed, you're rejuvenated. You're ready to tackle that problem, ace that test, or crush that project with a clarity and energy you didn't have before. We also talked about the magic of the reset button. When you're stuck on a problem, stepping away isn't quitting, it's strategizing. Your brain keeps working in the background, solving problems you didn't even know you were stuck on. And when you come back, the solution is right there waiting for you. That's not luck, that's science. That's the power of the pause. And finally, we debunk the myth that breaks kill momentum. Breaks don't kill momentum, they build it. They're not a sign of weakness, they're a sign of wisdom. They're not a detour, they're part of the journey. When you take a break, you're not losing focus, you're sharpening it. You're not losing energy, you're refueling it. And when you come back, you're ready to go harder than ever. Now, here's your call to action. Starting today, I want you to embrace the power of the pause. I want you to schedule your breaks like your life depends on it. Set a timer for 90 minutes, and when it goes off, take a 10 or 15-minute break. Get up, stretch, take a walk, or just sit and breathe. Let your brain reset, let it recharge, and when you come back, attack that work with everything you've got. But here's the key, make it a real break. Don't just switch from one task to another. Don't just scroll through your phone or check your email. Give your brain a chance to truly reset. Go for a walk, listen to music, meditate, or just sit and breathe. Let your brain wander. Let it explore. Let it do its thing. And when you come back, don't rush it. Ease back into your work. Give yourself a few minutes to get back into the groove. You'll be amazed at how much easier it is to pick up where you left off. And more importantly, you'll be amazed at how much more effective you are. That's the power of the pause. But here's the real secret. The power of the pause isn't just about work. It's about life. It's about showing up as the best version of yourself for the people who matter. It's about finding balance, peace, and joy in the midst of the chaos. It's about living a life that's not just productive, but fulfilling. And that, my friends, is the ultimate goal. So the next time you feel guilty about taking a break, remember this. You're not quitting, you're not falling behind, you're not losing momentum. You're building it. You're setting yourself up for success, and you're living a life that's not just about grinding, but about thriving. Now, I want you to take a moment and think about what this means for you. What would your life look like if you embraced the power of the pause? What would your work look like, your relationships, your health, your happiness? I want you to see it, I want you to feel it, and I want you to go after it with everything you've got. Because here's the truth. Success isn't about how long you can go without stopping. It's about how well you can recharge so you can keep going. It's about working smarter, not harder. It's about living a life that's not just productive, but fulfilling. And that, my friends, is the power of the pause. So go ahead, take that break. Your future self will thank you. Now get out there and make it happen.